What's up YouTube, Christo here, and I've got a quick video for you. You'll obviously notice a little bit of a different change of scenery. I'm heading out soon, and my tablet that I use to film my crappy videos is charging, and I wanted to get something filmed because I probably won't get anything done tonight, and I kind of want to keep on my vinyl channel, so this will have to suffice for now. I did some of my, or I guess all of my Guided by Voices 7 inches just in a video a couple days ago. So I thought, why not do my Guided by Voices albums? So it's going to be Guided by Voices plus related artists or projects. I've got a few rare albums, but to be fair, a lot of my Guided by Voices records are basically just like modern pressings, which there's nothing wrong with that. I like Guided by Voices, so you know, I just want their music. To be honest, there are a couple albums I would like to have certain versions of, but I'm pretty happy with the pressings that I have. So the first one, this is Isolation Drills. This is from their TVT era. This is a recent reissue. I believe this was for Record Store Day 2015, I believe. I don't know, a lot of really negative reviews on on Discogs about this. Bass Notes is the Perfume database. This is on blue vinyl, clear blue. It looks nice. You can definitely kind of tell that Guided by Voices have started pressing a lot of stuff on colored vinyl now, or much more than they used to, maybe just to kind of keep up with that kind of trend or hysteria or whatever. And you know, I'm a sucker, I'll always admit it, I'm a sucker for colored vinyl. I really don't think this record is as bad or sounds as bad as people on Discogs are saying. I find it to be quite listenable. If you like the album, of course. There are some goofy tracks on this, and it does kind of borderline on kind of goofy pop rock, but for the most part it's a decent album. I wouldn't even list it, you know, in my top 10 Guided by Voices records, but I think it's good. Let's change these up a bit. Let's take this. Let's Go Eat the Factory. I'm not a huge fan of post Half Smiles of the Decomposed Guided by Voices. Let's see, there's a few okay songs on here, but just compared to, like, in my opinion, the quality that Half Smiles and before basically was, this is just nowhere near, and pretty much everything since Half Smiles has been really mediocre at best. I kind of get the sense that they don't make a lot of money and they really need this to not have to do crappy manual labor jobs from what it looks like, so I can't really blame them, but a lot of really subpar stuff coming out. Is it better than to have nothing at all? You know, considering that this is also a lot of the classic lineup. I don't know, it's hard to say, but definitely a lot of like really mediocre stuff coming out from Guided by Voices now. I haven't even listened to the August by Cake. The cover, the title just make me cringe. I don't know. Maybe eventually I'll get a listen to it, but it's really totally of no interest to me. Let's do this next. I'd probably say this is my second favorite Guided by Voices record, Under the Bushes, Under the Stars. Definitely a more polished, well-produced recording compared to the previous few records, which often I will say I'd be kind of critical of, because I definitely like more old school, more lo-fi, you know, more creative sounds, but this album is just so good. Pollard's vocals and lyrics are just amazing. Just like this new height of just beautifully poetic lyrics. I absolutely love this. If you're not overly familiar with Guided by Voices, or you're not particularly familiar with this album, or you only know the newer stuff, this is, in my opinion, an absolute 100% must check out. Between myself and all my Guided by Voices friends that are also fans, this ranks very, very, very consistently in like top 3, often number 1 of all time from them. Not my number 1, but it is definitely up there. I think this is an absolutely phenomenal album, and you can get it pretty cheap considering it is a double record with gatefold as well. So it's a pretty nice effort. Sounds really good and everything. Yeah, Matador. Let's do this. This is B1000. Definitely up there for Guided by Voices fans. Not my top 3, I'd say, but it is pretty close. I definitely know people as well that would hold this up in their top 3, top 5. I'd put it in my top 5 for sure, but not top 3. This is an excellent album. Definitely much more lo-fi than Under the Bushes, Under the Stars. Definitely very poetic though. There's some absolutely phenomenal tracks on here, and it's so interesting because a lot of it literally just sounds like it just cuts out of nowhere. Yours to Keep especially, really beautiful song, and then it just seems to kind of cut and stop. Tractor Rape Chain, Hot Freaks, I Am a Scientist, 3 of my favorite kind of lo-fi Guided by Voices era tracks on this album. Definitely awesome, not my favorite, but really, really awesome album. I'm going to save that one because that's my favorite. Let's do this. Class Clown Spots a UFO. I'd probably say, with my limited experience, this is probably my favorite of the newer Guided by Voices records. I think this is colored vinyl. Yeah. It's kind of a greenish blue kind of Coke bottle, I think it's referred to as, kind of Coke bottle green or something. A little off green or whatever. It's good. This has Keep It in Motion, which is definitely my favorite single post Half Smiles of the Decompose. It's really not bad. I think it's an okay album. I really don't listen to it as much as earlier stuff, but I still think it's pretty decent compared to the other stuff they put out. I'm gonna do this. This is my favorite. Consistently, when people talk about Guided by Voices, in groups I'm in on Facebook and on music database sites that I'm on, or just talking with my friends or talking with Guided by Voices fans, yeah, this is it. This is my number 1 without a doubt, no questions asked. Alien Lanes. This is one of the few albums that I would give a perfect 10. I would say that this is a flawless record from start to finish. It's just seamlessly amazing. Every track just goes straight through perfectly, almost to the point where I want to say that it was composed to be like that, where the tracks were laid down like that. I don't know if that's what they did. Considering how many tracks Guided by Voices record or release, whatever, but I don't know, whatever it was just like this perfect formulation. And this is, in my opinion, not just a masterpiece, but also a lo-fi masterpiece. This is very strange, very atmospheric, very dark. And this takes me back to kind of when I discovered this album. I was definitely way behind the loop on this one. I don't think I got into this until early 2000s, and it's from mid-90s, I believe it came out. Just didn't really have access to Guided by Voices when this came out, and I didn't really know about them. They were a little bit too artsy for me when I was in high school, because I was into like metal and punk and industrial and stuff like that. But yeah, after I listened to this, it just kind of changed everything for me and got me into them. It's such an atmospheric album. Like I said, I can only listen to it when I'm in a certain mood, in certain places, in certain circumstances and whatnot. But yeah, this is just a flawless, perfect album in my opinion. This is, I think it's the 180, 150 gram pressing. Nothing overly special. I would like to get something maybe for this, you know, in a special pressing, because it is a really important album to me. This, however, this is pretty cool. This is definitely my Guided by Voices Holy Grail. I know there are albums out there from them, don't know what that's doing down there, but that are definitely more rare than this, or that are more highly sought after, but I don't have them, and I'm not paying $500 for one of their like kind of mediocre pre-B1000 pre-Propeller days. This is Vampire Untitus. This is a scat pressing that happens to be on, I don't know, kind of like a weird vomit color. It's like, I don't know, I believe it's called Yellow on Discogs, but it's definitely more of like a, I don't know, cream beige marble. It's pretty ugly, to be honest, but it's really, really rare. This is, at the moment, I'd say this is probably my third favorite. This and B1000 kind of go back and forth and back and forth. And I think maybe this is kind of my favorite because I didn't really own this before. I had a really crappy copy of an MP3, and I just picked this record up maybe about 6 months ago or so. And I had B1000, you know, long before that, and I was listening to it quite regularly. B1000's a pretty standard copy pressing, so it wasn't that hard to find. So maybe just because of that, but I don't know. Like I said, they kind of go back and forth. So, some Guided by Voices related projects. Superman was a rocker, Robert Pollard. I honestly, I haven't even put this on my turntable yet. I think I got this for like $13 or something on Amazon. And, yeah, basically just to grab it because I was really into Guided by Voices at the time, and I was trying to get into some Pollard solo albums. I can't say I know much about this. I definitely had the MP3, maybe even a CD of this way back. Don't know when it came out, but it's been around, yeah, 2007. So yeah, probably not long after that. I think I had a CD, maybe the MP3 of this, I don't really remember. I don't remember it being particularly awesome or particularly bad or anything. It's alright. I think it's still pretty cheap. It's pretty affordable. A lot of Pollard stuff is. This, though, this I'm pretty proud to have. This is pretty rare. This is from a Compound Eye. I bought this on CD way back in the day when I was in Singapore on a day trip, and because they have way better music and you know, better CD stores there than in Indonesia where I used to live. And I got this on CD and I liked it, and I just completely by coincidence saw this for sale and grabbed it. It was like $30 or something. It's considerably more than that to buy. I don't think it's been reissued or repressed or anything since probably around, yeah, 2006 when this came out. So I think this is quite rare. I think this is definitely one of his more celebrated solo albums. I did really want to get Not in My Air Force, but the price, I don't know, kind of when I was looking at the price, just like was really fluctuating. Like I saw it for like $25 shipped, and I kind of had it in my shopping cart, and then I kind of slept on it, and then the price went up, and then I was like, you know, I'm not paying like $38 for it or whatever, and I don't know, the price just seems to be going up and down. I haven't really been listening to Guided by Voices too much recently, so I'm just going to hold on to it and wait for Not in My Air Force to stabilize. Tobin Sprout, this is from the recent reissues that Hamburger did, or Burger Records, sorry. What's it called? I can never remember the full name of this. Moonflower Plastic, Welcome to My Wigwam. I was a little bit disappointed by this because I really like Tobin Sprout, and I've heard a few of his live albums, or there's like a bootleg of him at the Horseshoe, which is a really good album. And there's a couple EPs I don't think were ever released on vinyl. They might have been, but not since I've seen. But yeah, and I got this and I was a little bit disappointed by it. And on top of it, didn't come with the download codes as they were supposed to. And I had to contact Burger Records like 5 times to finally get a link to them. And the links literally just ended up being a link that I can only use on my computer, so I can't even listen to it on my phone when I'm out, which is when I listen to most music. And Carnival Boy. I don't know much about this at all. I'm pretty sure this was his first album, and then Welcome to My Wigwam was his second record. I don't know. I listened to the record the day I got it when it came out after pre-order, and I wasn't particularly moved by it. I found it to be a bit boring. And again, like, I love Tobin Sprout. I love his voice. Like, I love when he does, you know, lead vocals on Guided by Voices tracks, or, you know, does harmonies or whatever. But I don't know. I just wasn't really moved by that record, either of them, to be honest. So that's all my Guided by Voices and, you know, related artists. Check out the 7 inches. I've got a few cool 7 inches. Nothing overly obscure, but a few pretty cool 45s in there from them. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. I've got so many more that I want to do, and that's kind of why I'm doing them like this, so I can at least just say, okay, Guided by Voices done. Move on to my next chunk. Keep getting them out there. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you again soon.